Good afternoon from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Ross Johnston. The Tennessee Titans got walloped in Houston yesterday, 26-0. Cam Ward went 10 of 26 for 108 yards and an interception. The Titans only had 4 penalties but lost the time of possession battle by 17 minutes. The Tennessee Vols went to Starkville on Saturday and got an overtime win over Mississippi State, 41-34. Quarterback Joey Aguilar went 24 of 40 for 335 yards, 1 touchdown and 2 picks with a rushing TD as well. The Vols also got a pick 6 from corner Colton Hood, and they moved to number 15 in this week's AP poll. Vanderbilt dominated Utah State 55-35 with quarterback Diego Pavia accounting for 6 total touchdowns on the day. The Commodores moved to 16 in the AP poll and head to Tuscaloosa next week to face Alabama. That game has been selected for College Game Day, which will be Vandy's first time on game day since 2008. For all your foundation repair waterproofing needs, visit USSTN.com. Breaking news at once in your home for the Titans and the Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door, 615-737-1045. After Tennessee Titans lose to the Houston Texans 26-0, Cam Ward said it best, we ass. I think that is, after calling the offense, after calling the offense mid, we kind of wondered what's worse than mid. I think we found it. And after all the talk all week of this can't get any worse, it got worse on Sunday for sure.
And I'm definitely said it can't get any worse. And what I'm saying that is you're referencing individuals. When I say can't get any worse, we don't have any wins.
Yeah.
So it can't get any worse.
That's true. They should probably take wins away from last year.
It's really about team and winning. And guess what? You'll win, and you're still not going to be happy with that because you're going to know that you could have improved in so many other areas.
Yeah.
So when I say it can't get worse, well, until you get a win, it can't get any worse. I mean, you could lose differently and look worse or get beat, by more. But at the end of the day, it's just a loss, whether it's a 1 point or 100, point loss. So, that's kind of what I was referencing. I think I need to be a little more clear.
No, I'm just saying, you weren't the only person to say it. Everybody was like, you can't get worse. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, there's literally a promo
if I say about an individual player, like, hey, I don't know if more junior can get any worse. Well, he can definitely get worse.
There's a promo of 3HL where Slay says it, and Don's like, no, don't say that because you'll jinx it.
Well, that did happen, especially when we were talking about offensive tackles, me included in that one. So, this one here.
I don't know if it's technically worse with Dan Moore. It's just the same, I guess, as Dennis Daly, except for it's the only worst part is that you're paying him $82 million.
I don't think he's as bad as Dennis Daly, but some of these numbers that come out, and there's a lot of blame to go around here. You can point a finger. I'm trying to think of the positive. Okay, Jeffrey Simmons.
Yeah. Van Jefferson, 100% reception rate through the first 4 weeks.
Got glue hands like I thought most of the time. Pollard, the running game.
Yes. That they just totally ignored. They didn't utilize it, right? You finally have your run game going. You didn't really utilize it on the ground, but you also didn't even use play action off your run game actually working and being effective, which is just,
they haven't done that pretty much the whole time.
It got even worse under the guy who bumped up play action, and I'm just like, I don't even know what to do anymore. Yeah. It's almost like, do you want to talk about the worst football team in Tennessee? Do you want to talk the best football team in Tennessee that's getting disrespected in the AP polls? Or do you want to talk about Fat Bear Week?
Well, I want to talk about what actually happened in the game. What other positives are there? Are there any outside of the ones we said?
I'm not sure, honestly, and I hate to be like that. But
I can just see Ross has that look on his face like, yeah, really? But
I guess you could say the defense put up a valiant effort.
Yeah,
the players on the field.
And I told you that, especially this defense is not an elite defense,
right.
So eventually they're going to break because they just don't have enough. So, this is here. They didn't get into when did they get into the red zone?
The Texans?
The Titans.
Oh, they never got to the red zone.
They never got even close to the red zone. That's why I wanted to act puzzled, but
yeah,
they didn't. You went a whole entire game, and you didn't get into the red zone.
And the defense held the Texans to only 2 red zone trips, but 2 touchdowns way in the fourth quarter.
Okay. Here's when it finally came to fruition of how troubling it was about the Titans. They were up 6-0. Ross, you confirmed this. They were up 6. I mean, they were losing 6-0. I'm sorry. The Texans are up 6-0. And I thought, oh my gosh, we scored a touchdown. We could be winning. And then the first thing that came to mind was, I don't think we can score. Once that happened, I go, uh-oh, we're in trouble. No, not just this game. We are in trouble. I had no faith that we could score a touchdown, especially after Slide missed both the field goals, because my mind was going, it should be 6-6 at half. That's what I was thinking, okay? But even though the Texans were dominating the game pretty much, and I go, man, we score, we fine. And I go, I don't think we can score.
Listen, we must have been doing this show for so long
they
together
don't have
already.
World beaters over there now. They got some good front four, but everything else is just, I mean, they got some good pieces, but they're not like the
our wide receivers couldn't get open. Of course, when you're able to rush 4, right, and you're able to drop all those guys, it's hard to get open when you can only send 3 receivers out there because you have to keep people in to block. But you're right. I mean, 0-6, right, as far as the score goes. Titans are on the field, and, Stoney looks at me, and he goes, well, they only have to score a touchdown. And I go, I'm with you. I said, they can't score a touchdown. 0-6 looks insurmountable with how that offense looked yesterday.
Yeah, that was.
And it did not look good with the new play caller. It actually looked worse with the new play caller. And
those couple of trick plays, I don't think we could be running no trick plays, but at least he tried. He tried something different. I mean, maybe one too many of them.
Yeah, well, but if you go back and watch all 22 on that flea flicker, I don't know where Cam Ward, even if he wasn't already had a guy in his lap, I don't know where he's going with the ball because everybody's covered. Nobody bit on the flea flicker. Yeah. And I get the idea, like the concept of let's try something new. Let's try to get into a rhythm. It's just nobody can execute their jobs to be able to do a trick play. They could barely do a regular play and execute those plays on the field. But it felt like yesterday to me is like, this is where I'm at with this team, that when the other team scores 6 points, it feels like the game's already over.
Well, at least in this game, it did. Man, they hadn't done too much of anything on offense to my liking. So I was just like, well, dang. I mean, they moved a little bit there to get in field goal range. And, then you have the snafu with our go-to special teams, which has been playing well down the special team.
And I thought DK looked kind of a little slow yesterday.
He was getting pounded because he had a little nicked up early in the game. I don't know if it was shoulder, wrist, or something on one of those returns. He didn't look like he was happy.
And they played Tyler Lockett he ran the most routes for this team yesterday, which I know that Calvin Ridley allegedly got banged up and all that kind of stuff on one play, but they kept dwindling his routes ran and snaps. Like, you didn't have a lot of pass plays to begin with technically because you weren't on the field for very long, but I mean, we're talking about Calvin Ridley ran 12 routes yesterday. Tyler Lockett ran 24, the most on the team. That does not seem like a winning formula for the offense regardless. I mean, why isn't DK at least getting those snaps? DK ran 7 routes yesterday. I don't know. It just seemed like a pretty big mess, and we'll talk more about this mess coming up next. We'll also go to Johnny the Poet, who's on the line too, 615-737-1045. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons right here on 1045 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045. Coming up in about roughly 15 minutes, Brian Callahan will take the podium and we'll carry his press conference in entirety, which means that we're going to go to the phones. Let's go to Johnny the Poet. Johnny the Poet, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Greetings, gentlemen. First-time caller to this show. Such a privilege. It's a new game. I say the Titans are bad, and you guys say, well, how bad are they? Makes sense? Okay. So the Titans are so bad.
How bad are they?
The Titans are so bad that Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel declined an invite to the game because they thought they would be mistaken for being funny. The Titans are so bad.
How bad are they?
Well, they're so bad that the American Ryder Cup fans declined an invite to the game because they thought they'd be mistaken for being too classy. I'm telling you, friends, the Titans are bad.
How bad are they?
They're so bad that Tanya Harding just submitted a refund for her bat because apparently she went after the wrong Nancy. The Titans are bad. Thank you.
I don't even know what to say other than that. I guess we'll just go to the angry man in Hendersonville. Angry man, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm a long-time listener, first-time caller. I'm going to throw something on, I think, with the guys yesterday after the game. It's bad when you sit here and look at it. This is only week 4, and we know our season is over already. So I'm looking at the schedule, and I don't think we can beat anybody, if anybody, until we see the Saints in December. Because if you're facing a team that has no wins, you don't want to beat a team that loses to the guys that hasn't beat anybody. Teams are going to pin their ears back, bust through our line, and they're going to kill Cam Ward. So I want to see if you guys will speak to that. I'm going to hang up and listen.
I think there is a valid conversation to be had about right now the current construction of this team, staff included, obviously. I don't know. I can't guarantee a win anywhere on the rest of the schedule because I just saw the Saints actually be pretty competitive with the Buffalo Bills team. Mm-hmm. And I've seen...
Since the game was short.
Right.
I live with the Titans.
Exactly.
I mean, was that 2 hours and like 30 minutes?
I mean, the Saints at least put up 19 on the Bills.
Yeah.
And I look at the New York Giants, right? I mean, the New York Giants got a spark with Jackson Dart yesterday, end up winning the game. We've seen the Browns beat the Packers. Where is the guaranteed win? I don't think there is with this current construction of this team.
You didn't think the Titans got a bump from the play caller?
Well, see, the Texans ended up changing their defensive play caller without anybody knowing this week. And so they outbumped our bump.
I know they changed it to their DC, right?
Yeah, to Matt Burke. Yeah.
Not the head coach.
They outbumped the bump.
Oh, man. That's what it was?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. What did you think about Cam Ward?
I mean, he's continuing to regress. Yeah. And the stuff that we saw on his college tape is here showing up more and more frequently on this tape. And I know nobody wants to hear that. And listen, multiple things can be right about this team. Or I guess multiple things can be wrong but correct about this team. Cam Ward can regress. He is a rookie, after all. Yeah. Cam Ward can regress over the last 4 weeks while his receivers still stink, his offensive line stinks, and his play calling stinks. You can look at Cam Ward in a vacuum and say, okay, he is regressing, and he is showing tendencies. Sometimes that happens in games, and I mean, I'm not too worried about it, but I am thinking to myself, is Brian Callahan the coach to pull him out of it?
Well,
I don't even know if there's a coach on the team.
You would think, well, you're trying to look at the patterns here.
Yes.
And that's what I would do if I'm sitting in the chair on the show. You say, okay, when Levis started off with him, he looked solid. Then as time went on, he got worse. Now, you could say that was Levis. You could say it was the coach. It was somewhere in between. Well, it seems like to me, the same thing is happening to now. Granted, they both needed weapons out here. He actually, I would say, Cam Ward has a better offensive line. At least you only got one guy you're worried about, really, instead of two. So, I just feel like we know our answer here. So it's just a matter of when they want to make the decision.
Right,
I think it's pretty clear.
I mean, we talked about it last week heading into this game.
Because I'd be worried about if he's hurting the quarterback. Right. And when I say hurting, I'm talking about just in the mental approach of how we're going about this. And,
is it more of a hindrance to Cam Ward's progression if Brian Callahan sticks around the rest of the way here? I also look at it this way. You talked about it last year. We've talked about it heading into this game as well. But we saw Will Levis. We saw Mason Rudolph. Same offensive system, no changes. Mm-hmm. This seems like the same offensive system, no changes. But you're getting the same quarterback play. At some point, we can still point to, well, Mason Rudolph is Mason Rudolph, Will Levis is Will Levis, but this is supposed to be Cam Ward. Mm-hmm. And we were told that this offense was going to adapt to Cam Ward's strengths, and I don't think they do. I think they're running the same offense they saw last year because they've seen it work with Joe Burrow. Well, if it works for Joe Burrow, it's got to work for Cam Ward without any interest in entertaining the idea that, hey, Cam Ward's not anywhere close to the quarterback that Joe Burrow is. He's a different style of quarterback even. Yeah,
that sums it up pretty much. I completely agree with all of that. So that was my concern, as I said last year. A lot of people don't want to listen when you put two different quarterbacks in there and the offense still looked the same. And one guy's a proven backup and can win games as a starter. And Mason Rudolph, and he looked like a shell of himself.
Yeah.
To be honest. And so, and then Will Levis is Will Levis. And now we go to Cam Ward. Now here we're at three quarterbacks, and they all seem to be like they have their hands tied with the offense.
Yep.
So
there's a rigidity to this offense.
Even though he's a rookie, I'm like he is slowly getting rid of the ball. Holding on to the ball longer. Now, some of it he did have actual protection, so I was excited about that. But then nobody can get open,
right?
Which was a concern of mine in training camp. Are the right pieces there yet for him to grow and get better? And then he has to play better. I thought this was probably his worst game as far as accuracy.
Yes.
And everything else, but he was going against a front four that gets after the quarterback. So, yeah, it'll be interesting here over this road trip here, how he looks when we come back. Because I want to see growth and an improvement, not only just by him, but everybody involved. And I want to know what the team looks like because they look good. They look horrible.
It's the worst football team I've kind of seen play in a long time.
Yeah, that there, man, that one there was painful for me because that hurt. I was like, oh, this doesn't look good at all.
Yep.
So, yeah, the road trip, I think, will solidify everything we need to know.
Yeah. Coming up next, we'll hopefully hear from Brian Callahan and apparently select players. We'll also address reporters at today at Ascension St. Thomas Sports Park. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Door and broadcasting live from the Circus Sports 104.5 The Zone Circus Sports Studio. Circus Sports, Kentucky's largest sports book, can now be found at Kentucky Downs. Okay, so we're waiting for Brian Callahan to come up to the podium. We'll carry that in its entirety when it happens. Blaine, we were trying to nail down the worst the Tennessee Titans have ever looked since the franchise has moved
At
here.
least offensively.
At least offensively. Offensively, this feels like it. Now, whole team performance may be a little bit different discussion, but this is one of the worst offenses that got fielded on Sunday that I've ever seen of any team.
Do you think anything, Ross? You guys, I know we've had some bad runs there, but offensively,
it would have to be since the Wisenhunt days that it's looked like this bad.
Right,
I think consistently. There's obviously been some bad games here and there, but
they've had 3 games where they've had 4 yards per play or less in a game. Only 1 game like that last year. So, and this is supposed to have more talent, right? Because we talked about this defense a lot. We said this defense, at best, will be league average, and it likely won't be. So you have to score points because that's where all the money's at. That's where all the draft capital's at. You have to score points. And the offensive-minded head coach can't do that with this squad, and he did a better job of it last year. So I have to follow the common thread here and say that, it's the common thread is Brian Callahan outside of maybe Brinker. And Brinker's probably not firing himself, and I doubt Amy's firing Brinker, so you guys might as well. He may deserve it. He may deserve it.
Look at Ross's face.
Yeah. He may deserve it, but to me, at this time, it's Brian Callahan, and it's not a matter of if Brian Callahan gets fired. It's a matter of when. And he's having a press conference today, which maybe we hear from, so that you would assume that he's at least making it through this week. But I don't know. I'm not ruling anything.
Answering some old crazy questions. He may be going more off the ledge. Y'all gonna keep pushing me out here? I'm gonna just keep saying whatever I want to say.
I would if I was him. If I wasn't in charge of some of these decisions, because he doesn't seem like he's in charge of a lot of decisions anymore. If I'm not in charge of some of these decisions, I'll hang him out to dry. Why? I'm leaving anyway.
Yeah. Hey, so what happened yesterday? Oh, we just suck. What if he just starts coming out there and just kind of nonchalant? Oh, we just suck.
Well, our second best corner got traded for a late round pick swap.
No, why'd you say? We just traded a young starting corner.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then we decided to sign $82 million for Dan Moore. If only there were 4 years of film and 4 years of data that could tell you that Dan Moore is not going to be very good.
That's something Ross would do right there.
Well, we had an O-line coach. Never mind.
Now, if he threw his dad under the bus, that would be historic right there.
But see, I want him gone, obviously, but I feel for him at the same time.
Right.
I feel for him.
There's a human level where it's just fire him to put him out of his misery. It can't be good for his mental health. Yeah, right. Maybe the first question he should be asked is, how are you even able to get out of bed in the mornings and not just stay inside in the fetal position crying? Because this is terrible.
Well, he said he just rolls over and checks his bank account. So.
And he's up at the podium. So Brian Callahan, we're about to throw it to Brian Callahan at St. Thomas Sports Park, who is live and in progress.
After watching the tape last night and this morning and meeting with the team and staff and all those things, feel pretty similar to how I did after the game. Is we played 3 quarters of really good defensive football and had a chance to be in the game. And then I think again our biggest issue thus far has been we've not made plays late in the game or given plays up. We throw another interception in the fourth quarter that kind of blows the game open at the end, which is disappointing. But there's a lot of things that we got to get fixed. We're not where we want to be right now. I've been disappointed with the start, been disappointed with the totality of our play, and there's a lot of things we got to get better at. But I like the way our team attacks it. We work at it. We just got to get those things to carry over to Sunday.
Was that second and 32 conversion, was that kind of where things broke defensively for you guys?
That's a big play to give up. We get them all the way back to second and 23, and you hope to make it another, at minimum a third and 15 plus, and get the ball back with pretty good field position. Where they were backed up enough to where that field wasn't going to flip the same way it would if they were, in the 45-ish, 50-ish range, and that's usually how you can set yourself up for some success offensively. So giving that up was a big play in the game, and those are the down and distances that you work really hard to get teams into, where you can get them way behind the sticks, and to not take advantage of that was disappointing.
Are there some ways, Brian, I guess obviously 0-4, the numbers aren't great for you guys. Are there some ways that you can point to any improvement either from the end of last season or from the first game of this season? Any areas that you can say, we think we're better in these areas?
Yeah, there's things that are better. I mean, that's hard in the moment being 0-4 and trying to show a lot of things that are positive. Yes, there's things that are better. I do think we're running the ball well. I think we need more of it, but I think we're running the ball well. There's been some really good things defensively, just not consistent enough over the course of a game to be able to point to that and say that's good enough. I hesitate to say anything at this moment is where we want to be, because we're 0-4 and haven't played a brand of football that would allow us to win a game. So there's definitely things that I see that are encouraging, but we got to do more of it and more of it more often.
You haven't gotten the opportunity to step back, not call the plays. What did you gain on game day from doing that yesterday?
Yeah, it was unique. That was a weird feeling for me, but there definitely was. It was clearer on a lot of, just in terms of like, there's not that much going on. I just do a lot of listening on both sides and just making sure we're paying attention to where we are situationally and the things that are coming up or could be coming up. I did go try to spend more time talking to the players over the course of the game, so it was trying to find out where I'd fit in like that. That was different. Again, I've only known calling games, as the head coach, so it was a unique experience. Again, I don't know if it was good or bad or not, but it was different, and I felt like there was some positives from it, though.
Potentially get Spears back in the mix this week?
That's potential, yeah. I think we're going to activate him, open up his window. It's a 21-day window he has to get elevated back to the active roster. He's done really well in the course of, especially last week. Some of the workouts and stuff looked really, really good. He'd be a nice addition to get back on the field for us. I'd be pleased to see him back and help Tony out a bit too, because Tony's doing a phenomenal job for us. It'd be nice to get him somebody to complement that.
How do you describe what Cam's going through right now? Do you see him as stagnating, regressing at all, or is it just kind of rookie-esque to take some lumps?
Yeah, I think it'd be hard to put a regression tag on 4 starts. I think that would be tough. I think he's learning every time he goes out there. I thought there was some really incredible moments over the second half of the Indy game with the amount of things that he saw, how he responded to them, the management of it, knowing where the answers are, understanding how to protect himself, understanding where the ball needs to go. I think there's definitely something he's got to keep improving. There's always the timing and accuracy portion of the passing game tied in with the footwork that are all kind of things we continue to work on. It's hard to play quarterback in the NFL, and he's had to learn some tough lessons, I think. But he's also incredibly willing and incredibly passionate about trying to do things the way that you need to do it. He's understanding what it takes to play NFL quarterback. And again, through 4 games, he's seen a lot of different things in 4 games. The schemes, the rushers, the style, the defenses that we played, all very different, all very good. And he's only going to get better every time he sees those things.
Is he talking about the timing? Does it have more to do with getting the ball out or timing with receivers? Where is the timing right now?
It's all of that, and some of it's depending on the play. It's not a one time thing or an all the time thing. There's spots where within a concept of just understanding when to move on, how quick to move on, where to progress, what's the next thing, and how fast does that have to happen. So all of those things are things that it's constantly going to be coached, and you don't just arrive in the NFL a perfect product like that. And but man, he puts the time into it. He works at it, and he understands it. And now it's just to continue to build on the things that he's done well and to keep stacking that stuff.
Yesterday, it felt like yesterday his accuracy and then ball security was a little off from previous weeks. Mm-hmm. Do you have to guard against that when you're not scoring points against an offense, you're not winning games, that a young quarterback in particular tries to do too much and do it all on himself?
I think that's a great way to put it. You always that's a lot of players. It's a lot of players that know they can be really impactful in games, and they get into moments where they feel like they need to do something other than what's asked of the job. Whatever that coverage or play or what's asked of them to do in that particular down. You always have to be mindful of that, and especially at the quarterback position, because you do feel at that spot some pressure to do more when really that's not what we need. From a down-and-down basis from Cam. We just need him to do his part as one of the 11 guys in the field, and again, got to do things around him better too. But you always want to be careful of trying to do too much. It's usually when bad things happen. When you try to make a bigger play or a more exciting play because you think you have to.
Just say about play calling. In light of the results you're getting, is there any inclination to do anything else that would qualify as a shake-up for the player?
Are you talking about like people's roles and playing time in that? Is that what you're referring to, or is that
or anything?
I think what we need when you're 0-4, sort of everything is always on the table to try to improve and find a place to win. I do think when you sit back and you just say that everything's great, I mean it's not. We're 0-4, and we got to do some things better, and we got to do them different if that's the case. And so, nothing imminent to answer the actual question. Nothing imminent in change, but those are always things we're evaluating and looking at. And if there's a place where we can do better and put ourselves in a better spot, then we'll have to do that.
As part of the misfires in the passing game, are the receivers winning their battles enough, and are they winning them on time to help him out?
Yeah, there's been moments where they have, and then moments where we haven't. I think it's always an up and down. There's been really nice moments of wins that we've connected on some. There's been some wins that maybe we missed the throw. And then there's times where we haven't won, and we got to do a better job of that too. I think the general consistency from top to bottom in the passing game, we're still working to improve every day.
Snaps were down for Calvin yesterday. Was that health related or?
Yeah, he was fighting through. It yesterday. Nothing serious, but just those things that happen. Especially guys that run when they get banged up a little bit, they sometimes can't take the normal volume that they've taken before. So he was battling. He battled his tail off yesterday, but certainly was feeling some nicks and bruises.
Was that in the game or leading up to it?
In the game, yeah.
Fair or unfair, Brian, to characterize this team as regressed from week 1 to week 4?
I think all the games have been different for varying reasons. I think regression is again, 4 games is tough to nail a regression when you've lost them all. I think we've done some really good things in all of the games that we've played. We've just got to find a way to do those things for the entirety of the game, and then make the plays that help us win the game in the fourth quarter, which is really where all these games have gotten away from us in some way, shape, or form. Whether it's a turnover, it's missed tackles, it's a big run. Those types of things have put some games out of reach that we felt really good about. Heading into that fourth quarter, it felt like we were dancing toe to toe with some of these teams, and we didn't do the things for the last 15 minutes or 12 minutes that we needed to do to win the game.
We've never really seen Cam get animated until maybe yesterday in the post-game presser and the way he characterized the team. How do you feel about that? And I mean, is it a good thing for him to set that tone as the quarterback?
I think what everyone is learning about Cam is that he cares a tremendous amount. Is really important to him. He wants to win football games. He wants to deliver winning performances for our organization, for our fans. That's what he cares about. There's nothing else that he has any interest in other than playing football and trying to play football at a high level. And those responses, for him, that he wears his emotions a little bit out there, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because at the end of the day, I know where it's coming from, and I know why he's the way he is in those moments, is because he wants nothing more than to play well and win.
You said last week the challenges of leadership at 0-4. What's the key to getting the guys to still buy in and still believe that do what we say and then we'll be on the other side of the ledger?
Well, you keep showing them. You show where things are good, and there's a lot of that. You show where we have to be better, and there's plenty of that. And you're honest about it. You tell the truth, and you fix as many things as you can fix in the short amount of time as you can possibly fix them, and you keep pushing forward. And we got the right kind of guys. They got the right makeup. They understand. They're pros, and that's how this business can be. Sometimes it can be challenging, and you have to play the next play is the best way to put it. And you have to play the next week, and you play the next game, and you have to do everything you can to fix your issues. And you work really hard at that, and you hope that it shows up sooner than later. But we're backs up against the wall a bit, and you have to ball your fist up and fight your way out. There's really not much else you can do.
How much of that has to be player led? How much of that has to be player led, Ryan?
I think all the best teams I've ever been on have a really strong player leadership, and I've been really pleased, on the growth in that area from top to bottom. Again, not something that I can point to and say, see, that's not the case, but I know it because I'm around it every day. But the player-led teams are usually the best ones, and the ones that can win the most games are when you have the ability of your team to put the players in the position to understand what you need from them and how they need to respond. And I'm really proud of that part of our football team and the things that they've done. Again, not that show up to anybody watching, but to what I see in the building every day.
In the fourth quarter that you're seeing.
Start again one more time.
The imbalance in the fourth quarter. Each game there's been an explosive, multiple missed tackles. What would you say is that fatigue on the defense, or what would you say is happening?
No, I don't think it's fatigue. There's definitely a moment, it's just particularly in this last game, you throw that interception and all of a sudden it's, I think it was 12-0 at the time. Maybe I can't remember quite exactly the score, but those are moments that can be deflating, especially when you're playing that way. Again, playing pretty good defense for the majority of the game, and to have that happen, in that big spot where you need something to go your way to capture some momentum back. And I think that's something we got to work on, that response too. Like, we got to go bow up when that happens. But that's something that we're continuing to work on.
You said last week that this game was about who's more desperate to win. Mm-hmm. In lieu of how it unfolded, what did that tell you about your team and desperation?
I think we didn't do enough of the things that we needed to do from an execution standpoint. In the spots that were big. Again, you alluded to 2nd and 23 earlier in the game. We talked about, like, those are the things that you have to do to win games. You can't put yourself in that spot. I think we got to coach better than we did. We got to put ourselves in better spots from some of the schematic choices, and those are things that we continue to look at after every game and try to find what's our best mix of things and how do we best deploy the people we have. So I think we played really hard. We put ourselves in a spot, deep into the game where it was a one-score football game, and again, had a chance for it to be a tie game at that point, but we didn't hit the kicks that we needed to hit. But yeah, there's some things that are really encouraging about the way that they played early, and then we got to find a way to finish.
You mentioned that Thursday was good. A couple of players mentioned that Thursday was good. Does Sunday being so bad tell us that Thursday doesn't mean a lot?
I think practice always means something. I mean, it's an important part of the process, and the only way you know how to judge on where your team's at is how you practice. And that part of what we do has been really positive, and I appreciate the way the guys work. I appreciate the intensity they practice with. I mean, all the things that pointed to a winning style week were all there, and that's the disappointing part, is to not see enough of it show up on Sunday. But how we practice is always going to be a really, really important factor in winning and losing football games.
How close is Dan to not playing? How do you think him and Ole did? And then how optimistic are you about potentially getting JC back this weekend?
Yeah, Dan was really close to not playing. He woke up in the morning and was battling some legitimate sickness, and we worked him out at about 10 o'clock-ish, 10:10, to see if he's going to be able to go. And he said, I got you. I'm going. But that was right up against the 90-minute mark that we had to turn in actives in. So we were right up against it, and he gave it everything he had, and I appreciate that about him. For him to go out there and battle that way against the players he had to go battle against was good. I thought that he had some moments, against great pass rushers and one-on-one spots that he had some wins and he had a couple losses, and that's usually what happens when you play against those guys. Ole was Ole was solid. There's things that we tried to help both those guys wherever we could, because again, those two edge rushers are probably two of the better ones in football, and so we tried to help where we could. But I thought Ole had a solid performance. Again, still got to play better than we did up front for sure. But I thought that in a reserve role against a really good player, he had some moments that were really positive.
JC, just two more guys.
Do you have assurances that you're going to be able to see this through this season, where you're not looking over your shoulder after every Sunday?
Yeah, I don't. Whether I do or I don't, or it doesn't matter to me. My job is to try to put our team in position to win as many games as possible, and to keep coaching until the day comes that they don't want me to coach here anymore. And that's the reality for everybody that coaches in the league. You don't think too much about it. I don't look for assurances. I can tell you I've always been supported here. I've always felt like the people that I have to work with on a day-to-day basis believe in what we're doing and how we're doing it. But again, I also know how the NFL works. So yeah, I go in every day and I work as hard as I possibly can to try to put ourselves in good position, and I do that for as long as they'll have me. And that's the only way I've ever known how to work. That's how I've worked every spot I've ever been. Your assurances come from how you play and you win. That's at the end of the day. That's just how it always goes. So we got to get ourselves to that spot.
Last year there were a lot of turnovers and mistakes made in the name of trying to make a big play and get an explosive play. But this year there's been a lot fewer of those type plays, but there's also been a lot fewer explosive plays. Have you guys been more conservative by nature in your calls and how you want to approach?
I think it's a mix of a lot of those things. I think part of it's a rookie quarterback. I'm trying to make sure that you're putting them in the right spots. Part of it is, we lose our starting right tackle, 3 quarters into the season, and you're trying to help manage that, and you're trying to find ways to be explosive while trying to get the ball out of the quarterback's hands. It's sort of this kind of continual flow of things that you're trying to balance, and try to run the ball to help. You're trying to lean on the running game to help a young player too. So all of it has parts where it factors in. And we've taken plenty of shots down the field. They've been called. We've tried to get the ball down the field, and whether the ball gets checked down or we have to move off our spot and we don't get the throw, there's certainly been calls that the ball hasn't gone down the field too, which is another part of it. So it's all of those things, and we're trying to do the best we can to help a young quarterback and take some of the pressure off him, while still trying to give him opportunities to make some plays down the field.
The play caller sort of indefinitely, I guess, and if so, is there rust at all in something like that when a guy is just getting started?
Yeah, I think that's to be expected. That changes a lot about your process when you're trying to get ready to call a game. And there's some things that he'll keep growing and keep learning. And again, I don't think we're at the spot where we make anything indefinite, but I think we're just going to keep on pushing.
In terms of a positive just play, how good has he been? How good was he yesterday?
Man,
when we talk about player leadership, how much do you point to his play and hope guys follow along?
I'm happy you asked that and gave me an opportunity to point it out, because Jeff has played at a level that I've not seen many defensive players play at. He's been absolutely fantastic in every way, shape, or form you could ask of him. I don't know that there's somebody playing interior defensive line at the level he's playing at right now. I mean, he's been phenomenal. He's been super disruptive in the running game. He's getting pressure and push on the quarterback. And then I think what the area that I'm probably the most proud of him and excited for him is his leadership and how he carries himself and talks to the team. And that area of his professional growth has been incredible. It's really been cool to see that maturity process in the leadership role. It's cool. It really is. And he's backing it up with how he plays. And I point him out all the time, because you got a team of guys that can play like Jeff plays. Now Jeff's also supremely talented. He's one of the top players in his position for a reason. But he backs it up with how he works and how he plays and the effort he plays with and the tenacity he plays with. And then on top of that, has really grown in a leadership role. So he's been fantastic.
don't want to get you in trouble on this, but did you get any explanation on how the penalty wasn't called on the hit to the helmet right in front of you?
I did not. I made a lot of stink about it to those guys, and I kept asking them, how did we not see that? And those are always, when there's that many guys on the boundary, and there's 2 or 3 guys in front of him, and he got a pretty good shot right on the top of his head, and I was mad about it. Certainly that wasn't called. I felt like that should have been a penalty, and again, you can't control what they call and don't call, but I felt like that was a pretty clear roughing the passer.
Is there a sense of hopelessness in the building, Brian?
Hopelessness? I sure hope not. I don't feel hopeless. I know that. I don't sense that from anybody that works in our building. I don't sense that from our players. Look, we're in a rough stretch. We're 0-4, and that doesn't feel good. No one's excited about that, but I do feel their willingness, and there's an excitement about trying to climb out of it too. There's something about that's real competitors relish that challenge, and I think we got a bunch of competitors on our team and on our coaching staff and in our building that are going to fight like crazy to turn this thing, man. That's the fun part about these jobs is you get in these adverse situations and you're trying to find a way out. And trust me, I've done it before, been a part of it before in a couple places, but that reward and that feeling there's nothing like it. And that's what keeps me going, is that moment we could find a way to get it turned is really something that you can't find anywhere, that feeling of accomplishment. And I think that's what drives us. And I think our guys are excited about the chance to go try to prove it.
See any similarities between this and the 2019 Bengals?
Similarity. They're very different teams in very different places. But I think, we went through a similar style where, we won 6 games in 2 years. And that was a really challenging time for us. It was a challenging time for Zach Taylor. And all you can do is draw back on those experiences and on what got you out of it and how you got out of it, what things mattered, what things didn't. And having lived it, you know what it feels like. So this is not a foreign place. I've felt this before. But again, that turn was remarkable. And it was a really incredible accomplishment, and that's what keeps us going.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you.
Whew. Wow. We'll react to Brian Callahan's press conference and the theme of hopelessness coming up next. We'll also go to Dan and Steve, who have been holding on as well. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone.
Legendary coach Lou Holtz once said, before people spend money, they ask 3 questions. Can I trust you? Are you committed to excellence? And do you care about me? Hey, friends, it's Blaine Bishop for Eurofix. And Eurofix has built its business on answering those 3 questions with a bold yes. Back in 1999, owner Aaron Stokes was by himself with his 1-car garage in downtown Franklin. And a few months later, Aaron moved to a shop in a barn behind his house so he could stay close to his family while building his dream of offering the best service on European vehicles at below dealer pricing. Fast forward to today, and that barn's long gone, and Eurofix is thriving with 5 locations: Nashville, Franklin, Belmead, Murfreesboro, and Mount Juliet, with more to come. All work performed comes with a 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty, plus a rental car available with every appointment. So go ahead, ask yourself, can you trust us? Do we care? Are we committed to excellence? And I think you'll see that they'll say yes, and you will say yes because of how they treat their customers. And all you have to do is just give them a call at 844-EUROFIX or check them out online at myeurofix.com. That's myeurofix.com.
Keep ourselves in good position, so we can continue that into the 4th quarter.
I feel like you guys are as a group as far as cohesiveness and kind of gelling at this point.
Honestly, considering everything that's happened, I'm pretty happy. Had a good work with Juice and Oli over at right tackle, and it's really unfortunate JC's been missing time, but it's also kind of a blessing. We have our other guys getting some work in now early in the season. So God forbid we need it late in the season. At least people have some in-game experience. And I think each week we've been getting better and better, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, you've been a part of some quality organizations, so you know what it's supposed to look like. What would you say are some of the things you may have seen here that give you a sign that this organization can get there?
I think more so than anything right now, kind of like I said, watching the film, you see the opportunities that are on film. It's just like an inch away, 1 block away, ball out on time type thing here and there. And then the opportunity is like, it's close. So, that gives you hope. So it's on us now to, buckle down, get back to work, and, get it executed.
Well, what about more from a culture perspective?
Culture, I think, is honestly really good, considering, we're in a hole right now. It is what it is. But the team, the locker room, how tight they are, there's competitiveness in the locker room. You're talking about like Jeff playing, like just dominating out there no matter what the situation. It's awesome. Other players playing really well right now. So it's right there, And as soon as like things start executing, like everything's just going to take off.
Jeff, what do you know about him from afar, and what's it been like competing against him on the practice field and kind of seeing him on a regular basis?
Before I got here playing against him, always knew he's one of the top D tackles in the league. And then having to deal with him in practice every day, that just reaffirmed it and made my life miserable. But, Jeff, everything he gets, he deserves. He's a fiery, competitive son of a gun, and, he just doesn't do it in practice. He takes it to the game field every single week. And, it's really impressive to watch. I'm glad he's on our team.
In your opinion, Kevin, what's the key to finding success in the fourth quarter when it's fleeting so far?
I think we've done a lot of good things, for the first 3 quarters. And then the key is, now it's time to finish up both offense, defense, special teams in the fourth, get it going. And, we just got to keep putting ourselves in good positions and, we just got to get it done.
Is there any secret, though, to carrying that over? Because you haven't been able to do it, I guess, up until now.
Yeah,
so.
There really isn't a secret. It's all about execution late in the game, and that's what we got to do. And it's as simple as that.
Has the guys been in the league as long as you have? Do guys look to you for some direction right now with the hole that you're in?
I've been part of some very good organizations. I've been on some, rougher teams as well. And, what I keep telling them, good things happen to those who keep going. And right now it's on us. We got to keep going. Like, it is what it is, but 0-4, it doesn't matter right now. We got to keep rolling. We keep going, and some good things will start happening.
You were in Detroit when you guys dug out of that thing, right?
No, I was only there for last year. Yeah, so I came in at a good time.
With the time you spent in Cleveland, you saw the bad end and climbing out of it. Are there lessons you can draw on or maybe share with us about how that turnaround took place and how that can be translated at all?
So like when I got to Cleveland, it was the 0-16 year, and we built the base up pretty good that year. It wasn't fun, but it was part of it. The guys never quit. Everyone kept working, and no one enjoyed it. But that, angst and anger, it just set us up for the next year, and we were firing, pretty quickly, and it was fantastic. So, kind of like I've been saying, like you just got to keep going. We've got so many good pieces and great players, and we just got to, put it all together, and we'll go.
Did you guys see the hit that Alshire had on Cam that probably could have been a roughing the passer?
That, in my opinion, that was a shot to the helmet with a forearm, and it is what it is, and, just the league. Sometimes you get the call, sometimes you don't, and that's just what it was.
So you guys weren't given any kind of explanation on why it wasn't a call?
I haven't heard anything, but, it is what it is.
Protection a little bit better yesterday, despite the fact you guys are going against some pretty good edge guys. What was the line maybe doing a little better than previous games, do you feel like?
I'm just going to give a ton of praise to Ollie out there. Like him going toe-to-toe, they have some great edge rushers, and Ollie did a fantastic job, I thought, given the situation, going out there and competing. And, I was really impressed with him. It was pretty great. And then overall as the line, tough crew. And then, as the game gets that way late in the game, puts a lot of pressure. But I think the guys held up nicely, played well, and, just keep it rolling.
How eager are you for the interior 3 to kind of take a game over and give you guys a chance maybe to put one away if you have a lead late?
Oh, yeah. No, there's no better feeling than like when you get to a 4-minute drive in a game and you're able to do the things you need to do to win. Like, it's just a great overall feeling, puts confidence throughout the whole team, and you just want to keep doing it week after week after week. And, when that opportunity comes up this year, eventually, I'm excited for us to get it done.
How you feel like that? Your connected with Lloyd and Peter as far as working together?
I think we're doing great. I think Pete is an
It's Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors. 615-737-1045 is the number if you want to react to what Brian Callahan said in his press conference. Kevin Zeitler just left the podium. I believe there's someone else coming up. Not sure who, but we're not going to carry that because we want to get to your phones. But I also want to ask you, Blaine, what was your overall impressions of this press conference? Because, I mean, these press conferences are going to be tough. They're obviously 0-4. Dead men walking at the podium, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I thought there were some interesting tidbits where I'm just kind of like, man, this just seems like the same. If you could have pulled this press conference from last year's press conference and played it again, we would have felt the same. We would have heard the same stuff we heard last year.
Well, I try to be, in his shoes.
Yeah.
Sitting, he's in a tough spot, right?
He is.
So you just try to, read between the lines, and it just seems as though he feels as though he's talking as though this is his first year. Like this is his first year coaching.
That's what it feels
and I don't know
like.
if that's because it's Cam Ward. And he thinks that gives him somewhat of a pass, but to me, all this looks the same, and I was hoping it wouldn't. I was really concerned about that with the comparison of Mason and Will Levis last year, and nothing looked different. Two different styles, quarterbacks, one with experience, one with not, one with a big arm, not, the other not. So everything still looks the same. So it made me feel like he was a system system coach. He runs his system, and the system goes as planned. And seems like, to me, that's exactly what the doctors ordered for me offensively. Now, he did talk about some improvements, which, he talked about the running game. Well, he doesn't want to run the ball.
Right.
But the running game is improving. So that was interesting. He said defense plays well until the fourth quarter. Well, that's when it really, really matters. So it just, he's trying to be positive because you're trying to manifest positivity, especially from a coach's and a player's perspective. That's why I never liked that word, desperate. That you're trying to encourage and try to manifest something that's actually you think really can happen. You want to say it in a different way because that brings that desperation to a player that you don't want. When I say desperation, I mean it brings panic. And you don't want panic. You want calmness as a player. Let them go out there and then play free. So I just don't think any of those things happen. I thought they played tight. They start pressing, and it's just they're finding other ways to win, and that's what bad teams do. Just at the end of the day, man. I mean, you thought they could have done something here or there, but we could talk about the trick plays and why they do them. But you go look at past history over the last 2 or 3 years. They've run kind of trick plays against them, against the Texans. And they work, but it's not the same teams. You don't have the big 2-2 back there either.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we were talking about last night on Titans Talk Back was this, okay, they say all this stuff, and it sounds great, but then they never do it. We want to be a blitzing team. They never blitz. They have one of the lowest blitz rates in the league. We want to lean on the run. Well, they never lean on the run. Yesterday we have the team, this team, even with a negative 4-yard loss with Chimere Dike's only carry yesterday, this team was at 18 carries for 4.6 yards per carry. And then they rarely ran. But you look across the way, 35 carries for the Texans, 3.7 yards per carry. You look at the New York Giants and what they were able to do, 42 carries, 3.8 yards per carry. So everybody else is able to run it, and they are less efficient than you are, and you don't want to run it. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, is that they don't want to run it.
Yeah, I
so quit telling us that, well, the run game's good. We really need to lean into that more. We're now 21 games in. You say that constantly, and you never do it.
Yeah. Probably, 14 for 64, 4.6. Yeah. So that, so I think they need to lean into that a little bit more. But I think that would change who he is and his philosophy.
Right.
And to your point, what is the actual identity of the offense? I remember someone asked him that last season. Do you recall what he said?
It was efficient and something else.
Scoring.
And then, this year it was explosiveness was the big theme. And he even said that today, he says, well, we have to be a little bit more conservative because we have a rookie quarterback. Dude, you don't have anything to play for. No. Like, quit playing for field goals, open this thing up, and let Cam Ward be Cam Ward.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. Now, you guys tell me, when I'm watching the game, I felt like, okay, Bo Hardegreen's doing a good job.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, we get closer or in field goal range, and it seemed like they went super
Get into
conservative.
a little bit of rhythm. And,
they went super conservative and then just ran Pollard. I'm like 2 or 3 times in a row, and then they kicked the field, and then he missed. I go, oh my!
And a lot of people are trying to say
then it went back to the head coach, and he's the one went conservative.
Yes,
because he wanted to get 3 points.
We've seen it now through the last 3 weeks. I understand it was a 6-0 game, and listen, where there's 2 things that can go on here. First, make your kicks.
Oh yeah.
Second,
special team.
Yeah, you got to make your kicks, right? Like, let's don't let Joey Sly off the hook. But at the same time, if we hadn't seen the last 3 weeks of games where he's constantly trying to play for the field goal, because he's trying to play not to lose.
Yep.
He's not playing with nothing to lose. He's not coaching with nothing to lose. He is coaching not to lose. And then maybe this play wouldn't have looked as bad if he hadn't done it the prior 3 weeks. But now we're trying to let him off the hook because Joey Sly missed it. I'm sorry. Be aggressive. You had time. You had plays to be aggressive instead of just playing for the field goal.
Okay, and now I'm going to play the other side just to be Callahan here, and maybe this is what he's trying to say, is that maybe I'm concerned that if we throw the ball during this period, Cam Ward may try to do something that I don't want him to do and make a mistake. And then everybody's going to be yelling, why did we throw the ball? And see, I don't care about that.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm with you.
I want to let him loose and let him go. Yeah. And, hey, if you make a mistake, so be it. What do we have to lose at this point, man? So I think that's what he thinks. And
he's a football robot. He's rigid.
Yeah, what do you think about that process, Ross? Like, do you think he thinks that Cam will make a mistake and that's why he goes so conservative once they get in field goal range?
I don't know why it goes, like what goes into his head with it, but yes, I think that he is ultimately someone who wants to be conservative and try to take any points he can when he gets them with, fear of whatever. And it's just like what y'all are saying. Y'all are all getting fired. Like, just go for it. I'd rather see you go down swinging than going down just, with little tiny jabs. Like, go for the KO.
It's death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Yeah.
Instead of just going for the nuclear bomb. Let's nuke it. Like, let's let Cam Ward be the quarterback that we saw at Miami. He doesn't feel like he's allowed to be that because they want to be conservative. But they want to be conservative, Blaine, without leaning into the run game. Well, those are 2 conflicting situations, 2 conflicting philosophies. And that's what this whole staff is right now. It's just a bunch of conflicting philosophies and no identity. 0 identity on this team.
Yeah, the rubber's going to meet the road where he probably eventually throws Cam under the bus. It's going to be.
It kind of sounds like sometimes he's using Cam Ward being a rookie as a crutch.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And I think that he's kind of getting away with it with how he words it, but I do think he's using Cam Ward as a rookie as a crutch. Let's go to Luke in Nashville. Luke, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
That's funny, Curtis.
Hey, yeah, I agree with the identity part. You mentioned going for it or not going for it. Remember, they tried to pass in Denver in the 4th when they got in field goal range, and Cam got sacked twice. So now it's like they're scared to pass, and that may be why you're seeing the conservative play. But I agree with the identity thing. But it's just in a really bad place. But the only reason one of the reasons I called that Vandy's coming to Tuscaloosa on Saturday. Listen, I mean, they came off a big win, but historically, a lot of these teams, when they get those juggernaut matchups, the next week they don't look so good. Clark Lee and Diego are not afraid to go on the road. They don't ball up like Josh Heupel and get scared. So, listen, man, it can happen. So, all right. See you guys later. Have a good week.
I don't think Diego is going to play tight, or him or Clark. He's going to call tight calls on 3rd. And
they're the bizarro Brian Callahan, Cam Ward.
They're the total opposite. We're going to go 4.
Yeah.
What? We are Vandy. We don't have
and I would argue to say that Vandy's the juggernaut in this scenario and not Georgia.
Oh.
I would argue
that's
that.
Right. They're coming to Alabama, though. Oh, what's the name's going to be there, right?
Yeah.
Game day.
There you go. Let's go to Doug in Nashville. Doug, you're on with Blaine and Zach. We'll talk about it later.
Hey, you guys, I'm on board with opening up the offense. What do you have to lose? But there's just one tiny little problem.
What's that?
If you throw the ball, who's going to catch it? I'll wait. Crickets. Who's going to catch it? I'm out, fellas. That's it.
All right, Doug. Well, I mean, yesterday they didn't have, outside of Elikai and Manor, they had a pretty good ratio of targets to catching. Yeah. I mean, like...
And I get what he's saying because it was thrown behind, and he had a
that was all Cam Ward. You can't blame Elikai and Manor on that one. That was Cam Ward right there.
Wish he wouldn't even put his hands up, right?
Yeah.
If you're Elikai,
with this fan base, you might as well just not even try to catch some of these balls that you know you're not coming down with, because you're going to get blamed for it by the fans.
Well, I hear Doug too, and it's like it kind of feeds into the Callahan play calling. It's like, why are we all, it seems like everyone's just in this like what if, worst case scenario type of mind frame. It's like, well, what if we throw it to it, we dial up this play and they drop it? Or what if we, go for it here and something bad happens? Like, what is the guarantee they're going to be in the red zone again in a game, or they're going to have a close shot to go for it?
At this point, you may have to only be able to score outside of the red zone.
Exactly. Like, what's the guarantee?
I mean, they're a terrible red zone team. And they've been a terrible red zone team since last year. You're going to have to score from 80 yards out at this point if you want to score touchdowns on this team. But this is also the team that they helped build, right? Like, you waited to draft wide receivers until the 4th round. You waited to draft a tight end until the 5th round. Like, this is the team that you built. You got a scheme. Like, right now, Blaine, I'm working on some stuff behind the scenes as far as trying to figure out, some points to point to figure out. Because I don't think this is a modern offense. I think it wants to be a modern offense, but I don't think it knows how to be a modern offense, because modern offenses aren't just about staying in shotgun 90% of the time and passing it a lot. It's about adapting and staying ahead of the trends that you see happening in the NFL, both on offense and defense, and they're not doing that. They're just trying to play the Cincinnati Bengals style of offense without T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and Joe Burrow. They got the same kind of offensive line.
And that's all you know. So,
right.
So you just don't have Joe Burrow. That's why I said you kept comparing, let's just stop. Don't even just stop. You did it one time, and then you should have just left it there. Burrow's a Hall of Fame caliber type quarterback, and now we're going to compare him to a rookie who hadn't proven himself. And I think he tried to clarify, there's some traits there. But at the same time, you got to know where it's going to go if you continue to bring up the comparisons. I thought this was hugely funny right here with Stoney Keeley say, "Hey man, I dropped my toast, but I blame Callahan for."
All right, we got tons.
I would have had jam on there, man. Did you change the jam? Did you pick it back up and bite it?
He can't bend down right now. He has a hernia issue right now. So, I mean, Brian Callahan and Tennessee Titans have actually physically caused harm to Stoney Keeley. It happened last week during the game. So
we know it's time to go.
it's time. All right, when we come back, we're going to go straight to your phones. We'll have more reaction to Brian Callahan because there's more stuff I want to talk about. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons right here on 104.5 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone, powered by all Four Seasons Garage Doors, 615-737-1045. We just had producer Bert, Big Boss Bert, from the Buck Rising Show in here, and he said that if things don't right the ship and they don't go on a big playoff run,
for the Ravens,
the Ravens may fire John Harbaugh. And I'd said I would do anything to get John Harbaugh here. Anything.
Oh my God.
Nothing's off the table.
Oh my.
Would you do a show shirtless?
Yeah. Heck yeah. If it meant to secure him, if it's like he was in there, he's like, Zach, the Titans are on the phone. They go, Zach, you have to do a show shirtless for John Harbaugh to take this job. I would do it. That's easy. I wouldn't even be ashamed to do it. I don't care how my body looks. Like, to get John Harbaugh, that would be awesome.
Oh man, we got to make it a little more risky. That walk around 12th in downtown with just his underwear on. Or something.
Well, John Harbaugh, if you're listening, the ball is in your court.
Torture everybody.
Yeah, so the ball's in John Harbaugh and the Tennessee Titans negotiation court. If this were to happen,
I think you need to get on one of those party buses.
Yeah. Oh, man.
That's
you spend all day on the party bus?
And they have to film it and show us your day.
Yeah. Hey, listen, whatever it takes, whatever the Tennessee Titans and John Harbaugh need me to do to seal the deal, I will do it.
Oh, I'd take that all day. John Harbaugh, man, yeah, man.
All right, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Dan in Goodlettsville. Dan, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hey, thanks for taking the call. First-time caller. Just got a couple of comments. Number one, I would not fire Coach Callahan. And the reason why, good players will make good coaches. Great players will make great coaches. If I'm going to let anybody go, I would start with the GM and whoever's doing the scouting. Obviously, he does not have the talent that he needs to compete. Now, if he does have the talent he needs to compete, then Coach Cal needs to sit down on his assistant coaches and coach them up. Because Coach Callahan's not going to throw the ball, he's not going to punt the ball, and maybe he doesn't run some of the plays that we think he should run, and it's because he doesn't have the talent or does not have the confidence in that talent. And I appreciate the call. You guys have a great day, and thanks for taking the call.
Thanks, Dan. I mean, I do think he's coaching with a lack of confidence. I don't know whether it's in himself, in the players, or maybe a little bit of both, but I do feel like there's a lack of confidence in the way that he has coached for about a long time now.
Yeah, well, he's got. I'm tired of saying he has to grow. He got to coach fearless now, especially with play calling. But to the caller's point there, we just got a new GM, and those guys have actually contributed probably more than anybody in the draft class. So it's not about the GM. It is actually about the freaking coach at this point.
Because don't you think if you had a better coach, it doesn't have to be the best coach ever.
Right, yeah.
This is a 2-2 team because the defense has kept them in games.
Well, that's really my big issue. It's not about wins and losses. At the end of the day, I know the fans just want to win game, but they're not supposed to be getting beat like how they're getting beat.
I agree with that.
They're supposed to be competitive in these games. Whether you win some or not, you can go down a whole little road in the NFL.
Because they don't look competitive. Yeah, specifically on offense, and defense can only hold its competitiveness for so long.
I'd love to hear true serum from the teams that we've played and what are their thought process of the Titans. If I just left it broad, would they would say, oh, okay, well, eventually they'll break, whether it's at halftime, after third quarter, but they just don't have enough talent, but they also are not disciplined and well coached. Right. I bet you that's what teams would say. Because
that's what it is.
Or they just don't have the scheme, or they just don't have enough players. And then eventually Cam Ward is going to start forcing issues. I'm telling you right now, it's in his DNA. He is real lucky right now. He is real lucky. That flip thing he did off of his back, that was a Will Levis move now. They called him down, but that was all day Will Levis. And he did this in college, and I said it wasn't going to work. They need to get that tapered down. Like, he was down. Like, he was on somebody else. He's trying to flip it to somebody off his back. I didn't like that at all. Now, I ain't trying to blame him for what's going on, but they still need to coach him up. So I don't know if he's even getting the real type of quarterback coaching he needs. I
think you hit it right on the head just now.
Yeah, that there, man. I'm like, hey, I'm starting to see him doing some stuff now. I say, yep, this is the stuff I saw in college. This is what I said, this stuff is not going to work. And everybody, he should run it. Watch it. I keep telling y'all, Cam Ward is just an average athlete at quarterback. That's it. He's not better than Will Levis. We're talking about athlete, not quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not better than Will Levis. He's not a better athlete than him. They go to a gym and they start just do all these tests. He's not that dude. He is a true quarterback that can move and can get around in the pocket and can maybe even run for some first downs. There's times I was like, oh, man, he should take off. But he's not no Vince Young type runner. He's not like that. Oh, no, he is not that kind of athlete. So he wins.
He's also not very decisive in that regard either sometimes.
Man, he was getting the ball late. I mean, he was throwing out because the guy was already out of bounds. Like, whoa. So that means he didn't go through his progressions fast enough, or he was just late on the throw. Or he was hoping that he can throw downtown because that's who he really is. And then, held onto the ball and realized I can't do that.
Listen, when you're 0-4, everything gets questioned and put under a microscope.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fair to put Cam Ward under a microscope. We're not calling him a bust. We're not saying he's the only reason or anything like that. But it's fair to say that Cam Ward has been contributing to some of the issues where this team can't stay on the field. But by and large, I agree with one of your points that you've said a couple minutes ago, where it's like, I'm beginning to wonder about the quarterback coaching that he's getting.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like what I'm seeing out of him now. It could be a lot of factors in that, but he's definitely got all the tools, his leadership, and all of that. But I think that's something the organization
needs to,
no doubt. You need to start considering that, how he's looking at. And to me, he's regressing. He's going back to, who he really is. And that's what happens when you start losing and you start trying to make plays and manifest plays that aren't there.
Well, and it's also because you hear your coach talk all week, and then you hear other players talk about being desperate. And that desperation not to lose, how Jake put it last night, we had a caller named Jake said they seem to be, their desperation comes from wanting not to lose instead of wanting to win.
Yeah.
And I think when you have that desperation start creeping in, that was the wrong message to send to your team. And I think that this kind of looked like a team that was like desperate. I mean, it did. It looked like a team yesterday. This offense in particular looked like a team that was so desperate for a play to happen that they were committing errors everywhere. And the only person that has really performed on a consistent basis for this team is your running back. And again, we go back to they don't even want to really lean on their running back.
Oh, yeah, definitely not. Oh, we have to apply to Cedric Gray, too, by the way.
Yes, 17 tackles is wild.
That was impressive.
Yeah, he got to talk today, by the way.
Read ball guy, and he's really his keys, and that's going to go a long way. That's why I was stunned that they rotated him. Funny they didn't rotate him this week.
Right.
It was kind of, I'd love to know why that didn't happen.
Why'd you do it last week, but you're not doing it this week?
Right.
Didn't even call Kaiser White up. They called Curtis Jacobs up instead, who I know is worse than Kaiser White. So I didn't even understand
White
that.
Started some games.
Yeah,
in this league, been a pretty productive player.
A lot of confusing stuff has been happening this last week and a half that is just not making a lot of sense. And that was one of them. Glad that Cedric Gray played.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just as confusing of how they are handling Cedric Gray between last week and this week. I don't know. Lean into your players that are at least performing. Maybe Cedric Gray, they played Cedric Gray so they could trade him.
Oh.
I'm not ruling out that possibility.
Oh, no, me either.
He's not this regime's pick, right?
Not at all.
I'm not ruling that out. Let's go to Stephen.
James Williams, did he dress?
I think,
did.
yeah, he did.
On special teams.
Yeah, he was on special teams. So he was off his suspension hiatus. Suspended. So he was suspended for 1 week for those penalties. I'm putting that in quotation marks, by the way, for those who are listening on the radio.
He got the wrong end of the deal. He cut the deal because he had to stay here.
Close one.
He had to stay here where the other one they shipped out. My bad.
All right. Let's go to Steve in Murfreesboro.
Save us, Steve.
Steve, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
All right. So I'm going to give you one of these things does not belong on this list, and think about this as we go through it real quick, and then I'm going to name the list afterwards. So the Titans offensive line, number 1, the Empire State Building, number 2, the Eiffel Tower, number 3, the Pentagon, number 4, and the dam part of the Hoover Dam is number 5. And the name of this list is great things that were built in under 4 years. What doesn't belong on that list?
Yeah, I would say the Tennessee Titans for sure.
Oh, nice. Nice analogy there.
Yeah, I'm with you, Steve. It's not looking good. We appreciate the call.
Oh, man. People are talking about tanking already.
I will go back to last year. This team doesn't have to tank. It will just lose.
That's what I was going to ask Bert. I was like, what's the odds on this team to win a game?
I think it's really high.
It's very high.
See? Look, everybody jump up. Yeah, it's high.
This team is worse than last year's team that only won 3 games.
That is what is baffling.
That's what's okay. Listen to this. Mike Vrabel will likely get to 4 games before Brian Callahan. 4 wins before Brian Callahan, and Brian Callahan had a 17-game head start. Because I don't see Brian Callahan winning. And let me tell you about the disparity between 2 coaches. Matt LaFleur last night, they went into overtime. They ended in a tie with Dallas Cowboys, 40-40.
That game ended in a tie?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't agree with any ties in the NFL.
But 40-40. 40-40, Blaine. And you know what Matt LaFleur said after the game?
What did he say?
After his team scored 40 points, Matt LaFleur said play calling was trash. Terrible play calling. You know what Brian Callahan did last week when he got relieved of his duties?
Play calling.
Play calling wasn't an issue. That's the difference in head coaches.
Yeah, that one there. He's trying to, he's selling for his next team, man, that he can be an offensive play caller.
Yeah.
OC.
You know, if only we had guys like Mike Vrabel or Matt LaFleur on our staff, that'd be cool, wouldn't it?
That's a scab we don't want to pick.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, listen.
Oh, man.
I'm just saying what's going on in New England, and I'm not, listen.
They're 2-2,
you guys know me. I'm not advocating for Mike Vrabel. He should have been fired when he was fired.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm don't even care about Mike Vrabel. But what I'm saying is that there are going to be coaches that get to their 4th win that just started this year before Brian Callahan gets to his 4th win, and he started last year. That's what I'm really trying to say. Think about that. Let's go to Bam in Nashville. Bam, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Bam.
Good afternoon, my brothers. Good afternoon. How's everybody doing?
Doing good. How are you?
Good, man. I'm waiting for this modest tone to get louder.
Nah, man. You know what? I've actually learned how to keep my blood pressure down dealing with the Titans at this point. Because it's like, what's the point? Like, really, what's the point in getting yourself stressed out over, And I love the Titans to death. I've been bleeding blue ever since I went to the first game, which was the Music City Miracle. Like, it's in my DNA. But at the same time, it's like beating yourself into a brick wall. Now, I'm going to say this, and a lot of people may not agree with me. I know people own it. Well, we need more assets. We need to trade Big Jeff. No, we don't. Big Jeff is the only thing we got. He's the only thing that's and as elite as he's playing right now, I'd go ahead and possibly throw some more money at him to make it worth his while for suffering with us. I'm so serious. I know. Throw some more money at Jeff because the boy is playing elite. He's keeping himself up. He's sitting playing. I mean, he's playing through the storm and the rain, and I know it's frustrating from him. I would appease that man to do what I need to do till we get to a point to where we're somewhat productive. You know what I'm saying? But I think Callahan, he's just, man, you look at him and he sounds like the clear eyes guy. He's got clear eyes, dry eyes. That's what he sounds like right now. That man is deflated. And we need to get somebody like a Dan Campbell or Mike Vrabel we had Vrabel. But the reason I say Dan Campbell is because his personality meets that. Like, he's too soft, man. Okay, my blood pressure's going up. I feel it, Blaine. It's going. You hear my voice changing now? You hear it changing?
I got you, man. We appreciate you, man.
All right, bro.
Yeah. That's probably how a lot of people feel.
Bam, don't go into the YouTube chat because you're getting slaughtered in the YouTube chat.
He sounded like he was whispering, but I think he was trying to keep his tone down because he's a big Titans fan. I knew it was going to happen.
He did the same thing when he called me. I said, Bam, we're going to have to speak up a little bit.
Oh, man, but that's something that'll be considered, I'm sure, man. It's painful when you have an elite player and then don't have a really good team. But that'll be an interesting discussion. I'm sure they'll have some parts during this season, I'm sure.
I mean, that's the thing is like what I mean, you turn around when you fire Brian Callahan. We're just going to say when, not if. When you fire Brian Callahan.
This is what you said.
Yeah, well, I'll say it. When you fire Brian Callahan, the guy that you're going to bring in is typically the opposite. Now, it doesn't mean it has to be the opposite guy in terms of offenses versus defense. Right. It could just be a guy that knows how to instill a culture, that knows how to do leadership, and still be on the offensive side of the ball. And because he's talking about Dan Campbell and all this kind of stuff, and I put out a tweet during the Lions-Ravens game last week. And I'm like, this is what's great about football. You got two teams with great cultures that 90% of the team, want to emulate. And then I go, this is what is also bad about football, awful about football, is that the Tennessee Titans seem so far away from those two teams in terms of culture, product on the field, and talent. And I just don't think that Brian Callahan is the guy to direct this ship any further. Unless you're trying to get a shipwreck.
Well, it'll be, one of those kind of discussions from up top that you say, okay, how long do we go? And that's why I keep saying after this road trip.
Yeah.
Which will then be before the Vrabel game. But
I mean, do you just let Brian Callahan coach through the Vrabel game at this point?
I would love that.
Well, that would make it even more justifying. Because how good is their roster? I think their roster, and they're 2-2, right? I
thought this roster on paper is worse than this one. On paper,
the Patriots compared to ours, right?
But listen. Now let's remember that Josh McDaniels was forced on Mike Vrabel. That was not his call. So this could have been a totally different Patriots team had the owner said, "You're taking Josh McDaniels on this team." But this team is looking a lot better. Now, granted, yesterday was against the Panthers, which is one of the few teams with a defense worse than yours. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you still going out there and putting up points regardless. That matters, right? Like scoring points matters in the NFL, and this Tennessee Titans team can't do that.
Yeah, and that was a staple. They didn't score a lot of points under Vrabel either.
Right. Yeah, I was just looking through some of the stuff from that end of that era, and I was like, man, it's almost the last 2 years of the Vrabel era isn't great, and it's not as bad as what the Callahan era is trending to right now, but it does look good. Mm-hmm. And it still was a bottom-tier offensive roster. It was still a bottom-tier offensive performer those last 2 years. So I'm not here to say that Vrabel is the guy that would have solved this problem. We'd never be in this mess with Vrabel. We'd probably still be in this mess. What I'm saying is that when is the best time to fire Brian Callahan? Is it the bye week? Is it right now? Is it just let him play through the Patriots game? Because I think if you go 0-3 on this road trip, because you're already 0-1, who's coming to that game besides Boston people? Like, I don't even think I'm sure Miss Amy left at halftime yesterday. I mean, that's just me guessing, but I would assume so because she has somewhere she could go. She lives there. Everybody else kind of has to stay there unless they're going to get driven to the airport or something and just wait on the bus.
I would say maybe she left in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, we're in bad straits. Okay, coming up next, we'll go to Murphy and Murfreesboro. And we'll continue talking about this Tennessee Titans team. This is Cover 2. Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 104.5 The Zone. Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons here on 105 The Zone, powered by All Four Seasons Garage Doors, 615-737-1045. Bryce R in the chat says the most Titans move ever would be to hire Tommy Rees as head coach.
Oh, no way. I'd lose it.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to be on the air for at least a week because we would be so livid.
Oh, my God.
I would lose my crap. That is for sure. I don't even want him to be the next Alabama head coach, let alone the next Tennessee Titans head coach. Nobody got hung up on. That was just Ross pressing the wrong button on the phone. Also representative of the Tennessee Titans and how they play football. Let's go to Murphy in Murfreesboro.
Good job, Ross.
Murphy, you're on Blaine and Zach.
Come on, man.
Fellas.
What's up?
What's going on?
Man, halfway through that game yesterday, I didn't think he was going to make it till this morning. Who we got next? We got the Patriots up next?
No, we got the Cardinals, the Raiders, then the Patriots.
We're in trouble. I bet you $1 he's got one game leash right now. I don't think that play caller is going to be playing it. I'm guessing he got his duties back. I don't know, but you could have flipped the coin every play and done probably just as good as that. I wonder, Blaine, is that this can't? I know you were a DB, but I mean you're you're a professional athlete. I mean you could probably play ping pong as far as I know. It seems like a hard ball to catch. It's either his motion. Is it like some lefties I used to play with? It was a hard ball to catch sometimes that they threw. Does it seem like a tough ball to catch from Cam? And can that Restrepo kid that's on practice squad help in maybe trying to give some tips on catch it and not hang up? Thanks, buddy.
Oh, he's
Xavier Restrepo coaching
tips.
Yeah, he's wide receiver coach. I did say last night, what do you have to lose? You might as well just call up Xavier Restrepo. That's how bad the Titans got me down.
Oh, my. Well, the way it's going, he's definitely going to get an opportunity.
Yeah.
No, I don't think he throws a hard ball to catch. Only thing that I could really say from a receiver's perspective is I think sometimes they can't see where he's releasing it from, so it last second they're picking up the tracking. And when I'm saying that, I'm talking about when he's throwing his sidearm, sometimes, and they don't see where it's actually released. You can not catch it as soon as you like to, but there's no excuses for dropping the ball. Just when you're a wide receiver, if it hits your hand, you're supposed to catch it. I don't care if it's behind you or not. You got both paws on it.
Yeah.
Catch it then.
All right, let's go to Patrick. Patrick, you're on with Blaine and Zach.
Hey, Blaine and Zach. Appreciate y'all taking my call.
No problem.
My question is, I know everybody listens, some people listen to the press conferences, some don't. But I just want to get y'all's take on what the players are saying about that it's the players, that the coaches is coming up with the good plans. We've heard Big Jeff say it. Snead said it yesterday. Cam has said it. They said that they're not executing it. I know that Callahan is the face that everybody gets to talk to and see. It won't sound fired. But if the players are taking ownership and we're not doing what the coaches are saying, we're not executing their play, do you think that gives Callahan a little bit of a free, some extra time because the players are owning it? Or just need to fire Callahan and get him out of the way? And just wanted to take y'all's take on that, because I've heard several talk about it's the players.
Yeah.
Jeff said, Callie's not on the field, so just wanted to get y'all's take. I'll hang up and listen.
Yeah, thanks, Patrick. I mean, ultimately, yes, the players need to play better for sure. But I don't know. I begin to start questioning at 0-4 and taking into account last season what the game plan and preparation actually looks like inside the building.
Let me just say this, the majority of the players, naturally, they're going to support their coach regardless, but they don't have the answers, so they're not in the coaching business. And number 3 is, I don't think you'd be throwing your coach under the bus and you're in front of the mic representing the team as a current player. How much would that benefit you? So you got to look at all those scenarios. So basically what a player is saying is null and void. They don't know the answer. Their job is to just try to execute what is given. Now, wonder if they're not given opportunity. A good example of this is we can all yell at Ladarius Sneed for the 2nd and 33 play that he gave up for a first down. But why are they playing man-to-man
Thank you,
on
Dwayne.
second and 33? See, so there is parts of you could say, okay, but he still has to execute. Absolutely. But you're putting him in compromising positions here to now he can get beat and then score a touchdown. Didn't happen on that play. So there's two sides to the coin, and the player is never going to say that the coaches did a disservice to them. That's just not how it works. So they have to say it's on them, and ultimately they can take control of what happens. That's why we sit here and talk about sometimes how we used to change the calls and the plays because guys didn't feel comfortable with the actual play call. Now, this is a young team, so I don't expect things like that. But at the same time, they're not going to have the answers to why they're losing. You listen to them after game, from Ridley to whoever, we can go down the list. They're not giving you answers to why they're losing, just besides it's on them because they don't know the answers. That's what the coaches they're supposed to be there for.
Yeah, because I will say going to that L'Jarius Sneed is a good example of, or the Joey Sly kicks, right? Like, yes, you go out there and make that kick. Mm-hmm. You have to make a play on the wide receiver. But are you were you put in a good position to maximize your ability to be able to do that? Or do you have to overcome coaching? Because like you guys, you and Ross have both talked about this in my presence, but again, it was press man coverage on 2nd and 33 when you could be playing a little bit of a soft zone so you don't get beat over top. Because we got to remember, L'Jarius Sneed has never been known for his speed. Nico Collins is a little bit known for his speed and his ability to get a little bit deep and catch a deep ball. And L'Jarius Sneed's coming off an injury on his knees and legs, right? Like hamstrings and thighs and groins, whatever it may be. And you're calling press man coverage in a play like that doesn't really make sense to me, from especially where it seems like the last few weeks we've seen a lot of miscommunication in this secondary.
Yes, I mean, they were looking at each other, even on that play.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't know exactly what they were doing. You don't want to be in that position in this league. Oh, no. No way, no how. You're losing right off the bat right there. Game's too tough. Guys are too good. So, L'Jarius Sneed and his knees.
Yeah.
Will they hold?
like, yes, I get that L'Jarius Sneed on the surface looks like he's been playing bad, but at some of these times, it's kind of a little bit out of his control.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this was an instance where, okay, the coaching probably overplayed their hand a little bit by making sure that he was in press man coverage right up at the line. On a 2nd and 33, that doesn't seem very smart to me. All right, we got all kinds of topics we didn't even get to. I have a laptop filled with topics.
We need to hear your frustration, though.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm very frustrated. It's not out of my system quite yet. Maybe it's out of the caller's frustration. All right, 3AHL's up next. This is Cover 2 with Blaine Bishop and Zach Lyons right here on 104.5 The Zone. And in the meantime.
And in between time. Peace.